from Atlanta. You're tuned into the swanky one, new K.L.P. You're in the mix on the Spectrum podcast presented by K.L.P. Entertainment.
Nika Urbano Radio Show.
Hold the classics.
Hitting you with that boom bap hip-hop flavor. You heard? Today's official DJ, the Golden Child, taking you all the way back in the day. Keeping it grown and sexy for the ladies.
Hey.
Turn down for what? You know who it is. Ooh, it's about to get hot in here. The Hypest Mix Show is on your radio. Hip-hop and R&B.
Welcome back to the Spectrum podcast. Here's today's latest news. Alec Baldwin's Rust trial dismissed over hidden evidence. Alec Baldwin broke down in tears as a New Mexico judge dismissed the involuntary manslaughter case against him for a fatal shooting on the set of the film Rust. The trial collapsed 3 days into Baldwin's trial in Santa Fe at a court just miles from where Helena Hutchins, a cinematographer, was shot with a revolver that Mr. Baldwin was using in rehearsals. It is the second time the case against the actor has been dismissed since the October 2021 shooting. He will not be tried again. There are too many people who have supported me to thank just now, Mr. Baldwin wrote on Instagram on Saturday. To all of you, you will never know how much I appreciate your kindness toward my family. His lawyers alleged police and prosecutors hid evidence a batch of bullets that could have been connected to the shooting. A key aspect of the case has been how live ammunition ended up on the set, and Mr. Baldwin's lawyers have questioned the investigation and mistakes made by authorities who processed the scene. Their motion to dismiss sparked a remarkable set of events, with one of the two special prosecutors leading the case resigning and Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer dismissing the jury to hear from multiple witnesses. The bullets, Mr. Baldwin's lawyer said, could be related to Ms. Hutchins' death, but were filed in a different case with a different number. Prosecutors argued the ammunition was not connected to the case and did not match bullets found on the Rust set. The judge ruled, however, that they should have been shared with Mr. Baldwin's defense team regardless. The state's willful withholding of this information was intentional and deliberate, she said from the bench. There is no way for the court to right this wrong. Prosecutors will not be able to lodge the charge against Baldwin again, as the judge did not rule the case a mistrial, but instead outright dismissed it with prejudice. It was the nuclear option. The case is over, Los Angeles trial attorney Joshua Ritter told the BBC. Mr. Baldwin, best known for his role on the NBC sitcom 30 Rock and for portraying Donald Trump on sketch show Saturday Night Live, wept as the judge read from a lengthy statement detailing her reasons for the dismissal. His wife, Ilaria, covered her mouth. Other members of his family cried and smiled. The actor hugged his lawyers, then embraced his wife, who was seated behind him. They walked out hand in hand through a tunnel of press into a black vehicle without answering any questions or making any comments. The evidence came to light on Thursday when a crime scene technician told the court that a man named Troy Teskey, a retired police officer, had turned over live ammunition that could be related to the case. Mr. Teskey is friends with the stepfather of Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the film's armorer who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter earlier this year. He was working with Seth Kenney, who helped with props and ammunition on the film set. After the judge sent the jury home on Friday, the court heard from a series of witnesses about the bullets, including authorities who led the case and Mr. Kenney. Towards the end of the hearing, one of the prosecutors leading the case, Carrie Morrissey, took the stand to testify about the bullets and why they weren't shared with the defense. It's remarkably rare for a prosecutor to testify in a case they bring about their role in the investigation. Ms. Morrissey testified the ammunition had no evidentiary value from her perspective. While on the stand, she said that her co-prosecutor, Erlinda Ocampo Johnson, resigned on Friday as the judge weighed to dismiss the case. She explained Ms. Johnson didn't agree with the decision to have a public hearing over the evidence claims.
Krejcikova holds off Paulini to win Wimbledon title. Barbara Krejcikova held off a charge from Jasmine Paulini in a gripping final at Wimbledon to claim her second Grand Slam singles title. Krejcikova, a French Open winner in 2021, held her arms aloft as she sealed a 6-2-2 to 6-6-4 victory on her third championship point. She shared a warm embrace with Paolini at the net before looking up and blowing a kiss towards the sky. With the victory, Krejcikova, 28, has emulated her late friend and coach Jana Novotná. The 1998 Wimbledon champion died from ovarian cancer in 2017 at the age of 49. Jana was the one who told me I had the potential and I should definitely turn pro and try to make it. Before she passed away, she told me to go and win a slam, Krejcikova said of her fellow Czech. I achieved it in Paris in 2021 and it was an unbelievable moment for me, and I never really dreamed that I would win the same trophy as Jana did in 1998. The 31st seed also followed in the footsteps of 2023 champion Markéta Vondrousová to make it back-to-back triumphs for the Czech Republic in the women's singles. In keeping with Wimbledon tradition, Krejcikova clambered up to the players' box to celebrate with her team and family, many of whom were in tears. I don't have any words right now, it's just unbelievable, it's definitely the best day of my tennis career and also the best day of my life, she added. As the magnitude of her achievements sank in, Krejcikova, trophy in hand, burst into tears as she left center court. The result is a second straight Grand Slam final defeat for Paolini, who fell to Iga Swiatek in straight sets in last month's French Open showpiece. The 28-year-old was bidding to become Italy's first women's singles champion at Wimbledon. With both players being unexpected finalists, it was guaranteed there would be a first-time women's champion for the 7th Wimbledon in a row. And after nearly 2 hours on court, it was Krejcikova's name that was etched on the Venus rosewater dish. It had been a difficult season until now for Krejcikova, who has been hampered by a back injury and illness. Between the end of January's Australian Open and this month's championships, she had played 9 singles matches, winning just 3. Now she has won through 7 matches in the space of 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, in the first round against Veronika Kudermetova, I had a very tough match, and I wasn't in good shape before that because I was injured and ill, Krejcikova said. I didn't really have a good beginning to the season. It's unbelievable I'm stood here now and I've won Wimbledon. I have no idea how it happened. A 7-time major winner in women's doubles and a 3-time champion in mixed doubles, Krejcikova holds an incredible 12-1 overall win-loss record in Grand Slam finals. She will receive £2.7 million in prize money for winning this year's women's singles at Wimbledon. Paolini's career has been on a spectacular upwards trajectory over the last 12 months. A late bloomer, she won a prestigious WTA Tour title in Dubai in February before going on a surprising run to the final of the French Open, the first time she had been beyond the 4th round of a major. Her staggering run at Wimbledon showed her appearance in that Roland Garros final was no fluke. The 7th seed has become a fan favorite at the All England club thanks to her bubbly attitude and sheer doggedness to fight for every point. At the end of a first-set drubbing, Paolini headed off court to reset before emerging with a newfound determination. Having initially appeared to lack her usual cheery energy, she was soon giving fist pumps and a steely look, and she struck early in the second set to get back on track. Backed by the crowd and blessed with a never-say-die attitude, Paolini broke serve again at 5-2 to force a decider, to the delight of many inside center court. Yet Krejcikova did not go away, firing booming groundstrokes until momentum swung her way when Paolini double-faulted to give away the all-important break. Despite fighting until the very end, the 5 feet 4 inches Italian eventually lofted a backhand long on the third championship point. The last 2 months have been crazy for me, said a smiling Paolini, who had never won a tour-level match on grass before June. Today I am a little bit sad. I try to keep smiling because I have to remember today is still a good day. I made the final of Wimbledon.
Live from Atlanta. You're tuned into the swanky one, new K.L.P. You're in the mix on the Spectrum podcast presented by K.L.P. Entertainment.
Nika Urbano Radio Show.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast episode here today. We are glad that you guys are staying tuned with the Spectrum podcast. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't seen or heard or saw the latest episode of K.L.P. in the Morning, we had a great episode the other day. So if you guys want to check it out, the Spectrum Podcast is available on all major audio platforms where you get your podcast from, where you get every other podcast from here at K.L.P Entertainment from. Guys, take a listen. That episode was fantastic. I enjoyed so much of that episode. It's just an episode you guys don't want to sleep on. But we are here back in the Spectrum Podcast. Hopefully you guys are ready for another audio podcast. I'm your host, by the way, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got a special guest. Now, this guest was on previous podcast episodes of mine. And usually what we do here in the studio is we like to switch it up a notch. And when we're able to switch it up, oh boy, are we switching it up. And of course, I got to say, we got my girl Monica back in the studio.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my girlies out there. Welcome to the Spectrum Podcast. It feels so good to be back in front of the mic. I know it's been a minute for me, Kennedy, to get back here and to do our thing. Baby, I got to say, I feel so good to be back here in the Spectrum Podcast. I know you got Damien. I know you got Simone. But now we're in this great light to where we can really, I don't know, just really come back and do our thing and really come back and do what we do best in the form of podcasting. So it feels so good to be back here. I got to say to my fellas, hey, and then to my ladies, say, ow, you know, if this feels good to be back here in the studio. And this is going to be, I got the contract, right? We talked about it. And yeah, Kennedy, you want me to be here and to do this as a regular recurrent thing. And I got to say to that, I'm back. I think this is going to be the thing. I think this is going to be the motion for podcasting. Of course, I obviously see the growth of podcasting, the growth of a lot of things. Kennedy, you announced it on your Instagram, so it feels good that I can announce it too. We just wrapped the photographer, me being one of the producers for the movie and being a voice actor for the movie is incredible. Kennedy, you said it best. You know, many nights, many long nights, many long days, and it feels good that you continue on this train and you're continuing on the idea of putting together a great movie. Without trying to get so much get more promotional things going. It feels so good to promote the movie when it gets ready to come out as well. But I wanted to shout out to my girl, Shell Purcell. We're getting ready to go on tour with her comedy special. Pop Yo Shit. It is going to be an awesome special. Gulfport, Mississippi. You're the first place up. Get your tickets now. If you want to have a great time, if you want to network, if you want to really get to see this special and what it has to offer, Kennedy, we've been in that editing room, we've been in that space, and you know, you're doing Jill Purcell, she's doing her thing. So I just got to say congratulations to my girl. Hopefully she's watching or listening to the podcast, but Gulfport, we coming for y'all within the special. So shout out to her. Shout out to all the podcasters out here in Atlanta. Atlanta's been popping when it comes down to radio. A lot of people have been doing their thing, and it just feels so good. And I get very giddy for that. So officially, I'm back. We've got some topics of conversation. And Kennedy, you've got one topic that you wanted to talk about. I've got a topic we wanted to talk about. So it's gonna be a great show. So hopefully you guys love it.
Yeah, so I get so in awe when we always try to do the very best we can. When it comes down to podcasting, I get very, very giddy. I get very, very excited. So again, welcome, Monica. It feels so good to have you back, sweetheart. Damien and Simone, of course, they still kicking it. They still doing. Look, they're around the clock a lot, right? K.L.P Entertainment is this growing empire that we are continuing the growth when it comes down to podcasting and filmmaking and content creating. We still get it done. We still get it done. Now, you guys didn't come on the show. I say this every time, Monica. You guys don't come on the show just to talk about what we got going on. We got some topics of conversation today. Of course, we've got more hip hop news coming up later. But you know, I like to tell stories when things do happen, and these things do happen today. Now, the title of the podcast is called Smells and Things, right? This is kind of the segment of the Spectrum podcast where we get to kind of relax from the news for a minute, and I like to tell my stories, Monica. And I wanted to bring to our audience and to our listeners, I wanted to bring Monica onto this special podcast because I wanted to get her opinion as well. But this is what happened to me, Monica, today. Now, I'm going there. I'm having a great day. It's a great Saturday. It's July 13th by the time you're listening to the podcast. So it's a great Saturday. It's a little bit warmer than usual. Temperatures in the car was 103. When me and Monica got into the car to come to the studio, it was 103 degrees out there. And Monica was like, hey, this car need to get some air going because it's hot. You know, Monica got makeup on. Her hair's there. She's looking good, right? Because we're going out after this podcast, right? You know, it's hot. It gets one of those things where it's hot, but it's the car was 103 degrees. It was very, very hot. So when we're out and about doing our thing, and of course we had a couple of errands to run before we came here to the studio to record the podcast today, but we ended up going out and we're out there in public, and I'm seeing, this other woman, and I don't like to talk about other women when Monica's in the room, but I told her about this, and I think this will be a great topic for the podcast. But I noticed that this other woman that came up and was speaking to me, and I felt choked up. And the reason why I felt so choked up, was because she had on a lot, and I do mean this, guys, a lot of perfume on. And I think now I'm getting a little bit more sensitive when it comes down to smells, because the fragrance it smelled nice, but you know how like some fragrance, when they smell really good, they have kind of an aftermath to it, to where you can't really smell, you can't really tell what's going on. You can't really dabble into what's going on when it comes down to these type of smells. And it smelled good, but it was a little bit too strong. So she's talking to me, and I'm coughing left and right. And then I could tell that she felt a little bit embarrassed. I could tell that she felt a little bit sad, but I had to back up, and I said, hey, your fragrance it smells good, but it's a little strong, right? I'm choking right here. And she was like, oh, is it the perfume I got on? I was like, yes, you might have put on a little too much, right? To the point where I was coughing left and right, and I said, hey, I can't do this. I had to back up a little bit, and she backed up a little bit, and I said, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just you got a lot on. It's a lot going on. It smelled to the point to where I think that she just opened the perfume bottle completely open and just dumped it all over herself. It smelled like she bathed in her perfume. And I gotta say, it's so weird and I don't want to say it's weird, but it's one of those things that I just don't understand the amount of perfume. And guys do it too. Guys definitely do it too, where they're wearing too much cologne and you can smell it. And for me, I wear cologne. Of course, I don't put a whole bunch of it on, right? I put only just like a little dab on it. What you're supposed to do, Monica, and this is for men and women too, you're supposed to spray it on like the lower palm of your fingers or lower palm of your hands, rub it together and put it on your neck, right? And then that's how you wear cologne for guys and perfume for ladies, right? That's how you put it on. Not just dump it all over your body, right? When you dump it all over your body and it's a little bit too strong, the fragrance is there, it's loud, we cannot breathe because we can't breathe. It's one of those things that it does happen. I do hope that she understood, like, hey, you got a little bit too on right there. You got a little bit too much on right there. It's to the point where I couldn't breathe, and it smelled the whole area the whole area that we were at. You could smell it, right? She walked away. I still smelled it, right? I had to fan myself a little bit, and I looked at Monica like, Monica, I still smell it. It's in me now. It's as if I have the cologne on or the perfume on, right? It's as if I'm rocking it, and I just don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it is something that is just a little bit too excessive. For me, when I wear cologne again, I only put just a dabble on because if you really want to, and then honestly, if you really want to smell good, and I say this to a lot very loosely, if you really want to dabble and smell good, soap, body wash, conditioner, shampoo, shea butter, lotion. These are the things I like to put on, and then my cologne. I think she just put on cologne and just woke up, put perfume on, and say, "Bam, there we go." This is what I think. But I don't know, Monica. What do you think? Do you think that you shouldn't put too much on, or how do you feel about that?
When you told me that experience, because we was in a location, and then you looked at them, you looked at me and you said, "Hey, yeah, this woman has a little bit too much of the perfume on." I kind of giggled, y'all, because it reminded me of my friends, right? My girlfriends that, we were going out and she really wanted to really smell good for the club, right? One of my friends. And she's probably listening and she's probably laughing at this right now because she knows who I'm talking about. I think it's a little bit too excessive when you put a lot of it on, right? It's one of those things where it's kind of like a two-way street. You want to smell good, right? You don't want to smell funky, right? I've been around some people that smelled extremely funky to the point where you can lose your mind, right? You can lose your mind. You're like, "Ooh, man, you smell like you need a shower," right? But then it's another thing when there's a little bit too much on. And I smelled it in the room. I said, "Oh, girl, you got too much on, baby girl. You gotta loosen that up just ever so slightly." To the point where I kid y'all not, to our audience, Kennedy, when he was talking to that girl, she walked off. He was coughing a storm. I had to get him some water. He was coughing a storm, and I say to him, "Hey, you all right?" And Kennedy says, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's a lot going on there." Yes, there is a thing as too much. I honestly got to say, there's a thing as too much. We say this, guys say it, y'all guys be saying it too. There's so much as too much ass, too much titties, right? This is the same kind of instance when it comes down to perfume, too much of it on. To the point where we can tell you put a lot on because you're trying to hide something. But then again, from a woman's perspective, I would say some women would probably wear it just to try to hide something. Trust me, I've had some friends that are not my friends no more that they smell, they wonderland, they cool cat, they hoo-ha, may have not been smelling good and smelling a little fishy, right? You might be coming from that time of the month or you're a little bit fishy, and then you try to mask the smell when you come out. Let me tell y'all, and y'all, man, y'all don't know, but the hoo-ha, sometimes it has a smell. When it has a smell, sometimes there's a smell that we try to condense. Now, we try to control it, right? We try to control it with scrub and dub and making sure that it's nice and clean and washed. And make sure it is safe and clean from no diseases or any yeast infection or anything of the nature of that caliber. But sometimes we can't hide that smell. And when we can't hide the smell, we just can't hide the smell. And I think some women, I would say, they try to mask the smell by wearing too much of the perfume. So that way the guy doesn't understand, doesn't realize the smell of the hoo-ha because they're so distracted with the perfume. Now, I've been to where I wear perfume, and in the house, Kennedy would smell it, and Kennedy would say, "Hey, you smell nice." Of course, I make sure that I don't put it on because I know Kennedy has asthma. I know Kennedy has a sensitive nose range when it comes to smells. So I got to make sure that I keep it light for him. But when it comes down to it, you want to make sure that you don't have too much of it on to where Kennedy's coughing and people going out. But men do like the smell of perfume. Trust me, before Kennedy, we've been open about it before Kennedy. I've met some dudes that, I'm wearing the perfume and he's smelling my perfume, he's feeling it, he's digging it, and we getting it down and dirty. He liking the smell. Because why? Ladies, we know why. It's a distraction from the alternate smells that the human nature can generate, right? And when I say that, smells do generate, and smells smell, right? It's one of those things that smells do smell. And we can try our best to scrub and wash and clean, but we can also have that distinctive smell as well. I also do agree with Kennedy with our fellas. I think you guys put it on a little bit too much, right? To where it's either cologne for me. The base of my experience is either cologne or it's either Axe. Oh, dude, it was Axe. It was Axe all the way. He had the Axe body wash, the Axe deodorant, the Axe cologne, Axe everywhere. And then he was like, "Oh no, no, I just got on my Axe. I gotta make sure I smell good for you." There is a thing as putting it on too much, to where it's a little bit too much, to where you can't breathe. And I always say to a lot of people, to answer your question again, yeah, there is a thing as too much. I think that might have been a little bit too much when it comes down to it. One thing that I've noticed while we're talking about smells, Kennedy, what drives me nuts is the smell of cigarettes. I know that's basic to say, but while we were in the same area, there was someone who smelled like straight up cigarettes. Beautiful girl that looked a little young, but she was with a man, and she's beautiful, but she ain't had a full outfit on. It was just kind of an outing. It's Saturday, it's hot. We gotta let it breathe a little bit. But I was next to her, and I smelled the scents of cigarettes, to where she smelled like a big box of menthol cigarettes. Ladies, we've got to make sure we keep our hygiene up. We got to make sure that we keeping it up and keeping it clean, because if we don't, it's going to be very impactful for her men. Now, some men like it, right? Because I can tell that she was with someone who smoked as well, and they both probably smoked and smelled like cigarettes. But there's a certain distinctive smell that we carry that lingers, and some men don't like it. Some men don't like the smell of cigarettes from their woman. They want us to smell like blossoms, right? Kennedy wants me to smell like blossoms, so I'm gonna make sure I smell like blossoms. It's the same thing with Kennedy. I want him to smell really, really nice, to where he's clean, and I know he's taking showers. I know he's keeping himself upkept. I think estrogen, and Kennedy, you said this in podcasting before, is a range of our generation. Our generation is getting away with not making sure that they wash their ass. Wash your ass. Clean up yourself. Clean up your hygiene. Clip your toenails. Shave your face when you need to. Wash, for ladies, wash your hoo-ha. For men, wash a mandingo. Wash it up. Let me tell you, I love showers. I love taking a shower each and every day, twice a day, because I know that I can stay clean and healthy, and I'm able to feel more confident because I am clean. And let me tell you, Kennedy would tell you, when we both take showers from our long work day and we're smelling good and we're ready to rock the bed, not ready to rock the bed, but when you're ready to sleep, we sleeping in our clean sheets and we smelling good, and that's a good night right there. Well rested. Well rested.
It's all about the smelling things, y'all. I agree with you, Monica. I think we're in this generation. That's true. A lot of people don't like to bathe, man. Look, I've been in it. I've been around the world. I've seen some things. I've been around people the last few years, and I can tell you that a lot of people, for whatever reason it is, a lot of people don't want to shower. A lot of people don't want to smell clean and smell good. I think amongst everything else in this generation that we're in now, Monica, that is the most essential thing that you need. And I know times are hard. Times are very, very hard when it comes down to it, but you got to make sure that you bathe and make sure you smell good. Put some soap, put some conditioner, and put some cologne on. When you're going out and you about to go out, put some cologne on. Not too much of it now, but just smell good. That's not hard. I know it's hard because we're in some hard times. And, soap, if you you can buy bar soap for $1.85. The max is $2. It may not be the super expensive, luxurious type of soap. Now, of course, with my body wash, I'm kind of guilty of Monica, had dude that had a lot of Axe. I buy the Axe body wash. I buy the Dark Temptation because I like the color. It's like orange, dark orange. Looks like caramel that you put it on your body, and it smells fantastic. And then for my deodorant, I like to put on Degree deodorant. I tried to rock the spray on, like the spray deodorant, but they messed up my shirts and stuff. So the rub on deodorant. I like to buy the Suave smoothie conditioner and shampoo. I buy coconut butter lotion and then shea butter for my skin, right? It's these things are expensive when you add them up, but I would rather spend money for cosmetics like that to make sure that I smell amazing as a person out there going out in the world. We got to smell good, right? Speaking of who might be smelling good, pause. Amari Hardwick complains about how Power ended. Of course, 50 Cent had their dismissal, and I wanted to talk about that because arguably the biggest star from 50 Cent and Courtney Kemp's hit series, Amari Hardwick. Let me tell you, Power was such an amazing show. I need to watch the latest season of Power Book 4. Yeah, Power Book 4 Ghost. It's on Prime right now. It's on Stars, and I don't have that the subscription for Stars anymore. So I guess I'm waiting until it hits Hulu, and maybe I can finesse it some way. But it is good. I love the Power series. A lot of people didn't like Power 5 Force. That's Tommy's spinoff show. But Amari Hardwick, get this, Monica, he recently spoke out about fans' disappointment in the ending and how he agrees that the network and the showrunners didn't do justice to his role, the main character being Ghost. With his eventual death, of course, this was a quote that Amari Hardwick had said, that I'm with y'all in the sense. Hardwick remarked at the Tribeca Film Festival recently. Want to go to a Tribeca Film Festival? That's a big festival. I'm with you in a sense that the way the story was sold and told to me is nothing benefiting of the way it ended. Guys, so you all have every right to be like, it didn't end right. I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with this. Now, this is what was more that Amari Hardwick was saying, Monica. And because we don't honor our friends enough, and I know me, Matt and Trey are different. Amari Hardwick went on to say, we honor y'all. We honor our fans, man. We often forget that the fans are being sold and told a story that has a genius and that it has to end the way it was sold. Well, it seems like this is just didn't sit well with the brain who turned Power into a multi-series juggernaut. That's 50 Cent. Carter's 50 Cent Jackson recently took to Instagram and reacted to Hardwick's comic, and he voiced some striking disappointment. Very, very interesting. 50 Cent was reacting to that. Look, I kind of agree with, the show, well, with the character Ghost. It hasn't ended the way we wanted it to end. I kind of wanted more seasons with Ghost being, I don't know, like the character that we're reviving back, the character that we're getting back to and trying to find revenge from Raina. Raina's the daughter that died also in the series. And I wanted to see like a redemption for Ghost, for James St. Patrick before he dies. But on the other hand, Monica, 50 Cent might be the creator of Power, right? We have to understand 50 Cent's position too. 50 Cent has an obligation to the network, being Stars, right? Now, we all know Stars didn't want Power, and they're just kind of 50 Cent's kind of separating from Stars after Power, the Power series, to create something else, right? 50 Cent has to answer to the stakeholders. 50 Cent has to answer to the network runners, right? You might have a creative who wants he wants a plan to go left, but the network might say, hey, we want the plan to go right. And if the plan that 50 Cent had, that he wanted to go left, if he didn't go right, the network would say, okay, well, cool, you're not listening. Take your Power, take your show, and go somewhere else. Right? That's just business. You gotta understand business, and and this is why I say I'm kind of conflicted on this one, guys. I'm with both sides on this one. I am with the side of both sides on this one because you have to understand. You gotta. It's like politics. You gotta understand the politics of running a network, and maybe they wanted it to see something else. You got to understand that, guys. I think a lot of people don't understand, Monica. They don't understand the type of showrunners that they if they make that decision, that's their decision, and that's it.
I think fans have to understand, Kennedy, that a lot of networks they rely on numbers. They do. A lot of networks they rely on sales. They rely on the numbers. How many people are watching the show from the network, whether it's live or from the subscription model? A lot of people don't understand that model as well. Companies now, and I think it's a poor shame that companies, streaming networks, that is, they sort of look at the numbers because you might have a dope ass show that is doing something amazing and fans are loving it and people cannot get enough of it. But if the numbers is like qualitative analysis, if the numbers is not there, then that's something else. Then it's something that, hey, they have to look at and they got to think this is costing us money when we don't have the number count that we're looking for. A lot of people don't understand that about streaming services. They look at the numbers. And if their numbers are so low, they, in a way, lose money, right? They lose money in ad dollars. They lose money in marketing. They lose money in getting it streamed. Yet those things cost, by the way. They don't just stream it and stream it for free. Those things do cost. And when the numbers is not justifying the amount of cost, streamers and number counts, who's watching, then the show gets pulled. That's just the game right now. That is the game that every streaming service subscription model goes by. They go, what are the numbers? This could be a dope show. Again, like I mentioned, this could be a dope show. It could be the top show. But if it's not performing well, network's going to say, okay, what are the numbers? And then they say, okay, yeah, we're going to end it with this season, right? Power Book for Ghost, right? That's Tariq's spinoff show. They're ending it after this current season because dope show, but the numbers ain't there. And networks rely on that. A lot of people are upset about that getting canceled, right? Force will be canceled. Good show. We love Tommy. Crazy ass Tommy. But the numbers ain't there. And when the numbers ain't there, it's just not gonna blow over really well. Now this was a quote that 50 Cent wrote, Kennedy. Now this ninja emoji, we don't like to say that word on the show, but the ninja, and this is what 50 Cent's quoted. This ninja emoji is a straight bird emoji. 50 Cent wrote in the captions of the post about the F is, he talked about raises eyebrow emoji. I never done nothing but look out for him. If he needed something, I gave it to him. I understand now that that S word, again, I don't like to cuss too much, didn't matter. Of course, the Gene Unit mogul definitely could have gotten way harder, as he proves time and time again that his Diddy hit disses. But this is more of a question about storytelling and satisfaction rather than gratitude and assistance. So perhaps 50 Cent needs to shift gears now. Meanwhile, last year, Kennedy, Amari Hartwig revealed that the stars offered him to come back to the Power universe, which is hard. That might have been hard to do. Like when you kill somebody off, because I think Marvel's doing it too, Kennedy, where they're trying to, or at least what we see in blogs, that they're trying to have, I'm not trying to compare the two networks, but with Marvel, they're trying to write Robert Downey Jr. back into Marvel, right? He was Iron Man. He dies in the Endgame. They're trying to write him back. They're trying to offer him back. It's hard. Once you kill somebody off, it's so hard to bring them back. You got to tell something very, very unique that, oh, we thought he died, but he didn't really die. He didn't really get killed, but, the blogs are saying that it's said on TV. Or you write him in as like a history, like a flashback type of scene, right? That's a good way to do it. But it's all about writing, and you have to be creative with it. And once you kill somebody off, that's it. Now, after they offered that, now 50 Cent and the team could have made it happen on Hartwig's terms. This was a quote that 50 Cent remarked. It would have been a perfect thing, he remarked. They asked me before to come back. Sorry, that was Hardwick saying that. They asked me in the last year and a half to come back when they offered this when I was in Boston reading the script. I was in Boston saying, and then this, and then excuse me, and then this went to Star Wars, that went to Stars, and then they didn't come back. They didn't give me what I wanted on, and then this. So if they gave me the then this, but it would need, excuse me, but it would need to be the right that. Sorry, I'm trying to read. That was hard. Those are very, very hard for me, guys. I'm sorry. But when it came down to it, it's hard. It's hard to write somebody back. I think Amari Hardwick is very appreciative of what he. Now, let's be honest. Amari Hardwick is a great actor, right? Producer, actor, writer. But we can all come out and say it wasn't for Color Girls that made him his spark. It was Power that made him his spark, right? He made his spark by James St. Patrick. When I see if and when, maybe it could happen, y'all. If Amari Hardwick was here in Atlanta, just roaming the streets, going somewhere, and I was able to see him, I say, hey, that's Ghost. Hey, that's James St. Patrick. That's what made him stand out as a phenomenal actor, is from the Power series. I think this is not a long wait for Maury Hardwick. I think he got more to do. I see him doing a big movie, right? I see him doing a big budget movie. Whatever character he plays, I think he's gonna nail it. I think he's just waiting for that next spark for him to get into the movies now. And he's of that. To me, he's of that elite status. He's of that elite status of a actor where I think he will succeed in a big budget movie. Maybe produced by 50 Cent. We don't know. 50 Cent, he can do whatever because 50 Cent got that money. That's 50. I see him, Maury Hardwick, I see him doing something really dope. And I think it's going to be within the big budget movies.
Shout out to the Powerverse. They got something right there. It just sucks that we're getting closer to the end, right? There's so much storyline you can write. There's been a speculation of another Power chapter that shows Ghost or James St. Patrick and Tommy Egan when they were kids, or not like super young, but like teen kids, right? So we'll see with that, but it's not the same. And when you try to branch out too thin, the storyline kind of gets confusing, and a lot of people just kind of forget about it, Monica, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait to see. Now we're going to move on to our one last thing here on our podcast, the Spectrum Podcast, that is. And I wanted to talk about it real briefly. I got to talk about Lucky Day. And I'm not just crapping on Lucky Day, because Lucky Day is remarkable, Monica, of his albums, his music. So I was able to take a listen to the latest Lucky Day release album called Algorithm. This was me making his third studio album, and I got to give my honest opinions about it. I know the Joe Budden podcast, Joe Budden talked about it a lot, and I wanted to kind of give my spiel on this album real quickly when it comes down to it, because I was able to take a listen. When new music comes out, Monica, I try to take my time and listen, because I know we got to talk about it here on the show. So Lucky Day's latest project, Algorithm. I do like Hurricane, right? That Hurricane was the single that was released before the album. And I gotta say, it's a 14-track project that was crafted in a couple of features, from Teddy Sims down to Ray. I'm not gonna say that this is an off-putting album, but I think I agree with a lot of other music lovers out there in the world that I was kind of hoping that this album would be a little bit more like his first album. In this album, Algorithm, by the way, I love the cover art. I think the cover art is pretty simplistic, but it's dope too. But man, I think Lucky Day to me kind of missed this mark. And I only say that because when I listen to new music, new albums, I gotta listen, I gotta hear it, right? And when I sit down, I put on my Apple Pros, right? Apple Pods Max, like the Pro headphones, and I really dabble and I like to listen to the music just in my office. Vibes are going in my office. It's quiet time. I got my headphones in, music blasting. I'm in my quiet space, and I dabble down into the music at the house. I don't want to say I don't like this project, but it could have been better. I feel like Lucky Day was trying to get into the moment of getting into the groove of like a funky style. And it works to some of his songs. Now, I'm not saying that this album is skippable, right? But there's been some times where there are a couple of songs that I could do without. And that's what makes a good album. If it's a good album, if I'm listening to an album from A to Z, from start to finish, I'm not skipping a song or two. That's what makes a good album. In comparison, and just a little bit, because I know Lucky Day's an R&B, but just kind of comparing it to the other album that I love was Killer Mike's album, Michael, right? 3 Grammy Award winnings for the album of the year, the BET Awards. I listened to Michael from start to finish, and each song that I listened to from the album Michael, I didn't skip one, right? There was a gym session one time where I, of course, obviously go to the gym. Shout out to Crunch Snellville. I'm going to the gym, and I say, hey, I want to listen to the Michael album. And I listened to his whole entire album within my workout session. Didn't have to skip a song. And that's why Killer Mike won 3 Grammys and the BET Awards, because that was a dope album. In comparison to what I like to, it has to be start to finish for me, Monica. It has to be where I'm not skipping a song. That's what makes a good album to me. This one, I've skipped some. I like his first album because I want Lucky Day to get back into the R&B bag. It's cool. You've been working with Bruno Mars. You've been working with Anderson .Paak, right? They got their style, and I'm not faulting them for them having their own style. But Lucky Day, I want to see or hear an R&B. I want you to get in your feelings. I want you to sing like somebody don't hurt your damn feelings, and a girl probably smushed your heart, and you singing it. That's what I want from Lucky Day. That's what I want from this album. You know. Excuse me, as I get choked up here, I get very excited for this kind of stuff when it comes down to music. I do think that this is, I don't know, it's cool, but we need your R&B back right now. Of course, the Algorithm tour will start in July 11th, so it's been started in San Francisco before concluding on August 28th in Las Vegas. There's a 33 show tour that Lucky Day is going on. He's going to Portland, Seattle, St. Louis, Chicago, New York, Boston, Orlando, Charlotte, Atlanta. I had to do some emphasis of Atlanta, Phoenix, San Diego, and more. So I applaud him for continue to make music, because not a lot of R&B people who are still making music. But you guys can listen to it on any DSP you got out there. It's good. Like I said, it's okay. You know, I just was kind of hoping this album would do. I thought it was going to do what it would do. It's just this futuristic sonics and like the funk and the rock and the alternative. I could do without that. I could do without that. I think this is okay to jab. Definitely these songs, maybe it's good to listen to like on a bop. Like if you're in a car and you're going somewhere and you want a quick listen, sure. If you want to go, if you're working out and you want to listen to this, sure. But for us music lovers, Lucky Day, I need you to get back into your R&B bag. Right? Roll some more. When you're not too high, when you got too high, baby, roll some more. That's your R&B bag. That's the one you need to get back into. In my opinion, but hey, I get it. We just talked about power, and they had to answer to the networks and their shareholders, right? Lucky Day has to listen to the label. That's just part of the game. Has to listen to the label. Has to listen to what the A&R is telling you to play this. You need to play this. That's your A&R. I get it. I get it. but we can do without the futuristic type of stuff. Lucky Day, please come back into your R&B bag. But that's enough of my spiel, y'all. That's going to wrap it up here on the Spectrum Podcast. Monica, it's always a pleasure to have you co-host on the podcast. There's going to be more podcasts, guys. That's our listeners. Monica's going to be coming back as well. Damien and Simone, they're not fired. We joke. But no, we just got to switch it up on each episode. We try to get people at least another mic on the show. And this is the show that I'm so proud of. I know I do a lot of shows, guys. I know I do K.L.P in the morning, K.L.P Aftermath, SNN, but Spectrum Podcast has a special place in our hearts because, you know, we're able to kind of extend our voices a little bit more, get more people in the studio, tell their stories, and to get into podcasting as well. If you guys remember, Monica was on Beyond the Swanky Podcast, which is now, we call it the Spectrum Podcast. Before Spectrum Podcast, it was Beyond the Swanky Podcast, but you know, we had to change the name because it was a little bit long, and you know, we had to do some company changes. So Monica, is always a blessing to have you on this podcast, this episode. Guys, stay tuned for this week. Today's Saturday and tomorrow is Sunday. So again, I don't work on Sundays really, but we'll be back with more podcasting this coming week. So you guys just got to stay tuned with us as well. Comment below, do you like Lucky Day's latest album? We want to hear from you guys. If you're listening to it on any audio platforms you get your podcast from, thank you so very much. The support is real. And if you're watching this version on YouTube as well, subscribe or like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate that from our fan base. Until next time, we'll catch you guys in the next episode of the Spectrum Podcast presented by K.L.P Entertainment. Love y'all. Stay swanky.
Live from Atlanta, you're tuned into the Swanky One, new K.L.P. You're in the mix on the Spectrum Podcast presented by K.L.P Entertainment.
Nika Urbano Radio Show.